Good evening, good evening, good evening. Can everybody hear me okay? Just wait for you all to come on in. Need to post on YouTube how to call in to the show. Hello, Nikki. Welcome back. Glad you refound me again. I guess you subscribed to me earlier, and that's how you know I'm back on live here. I'm going to post the link if you want to call in, or if anybody else that wants to call in. I'm going to post the link here. I'm just trying to figure out how to do it because I'm on the phone right now. One sec. That's not the right link. Hold on. Edit. Delete. Paste. Oops. Okay, so there's the link there. I'm going to try to figure out how to put it onto the description. Again, I'm using a phone, so let's see if I can somehow do this. I do it on the tablet. Just give me a second while I work out some kinks here, folks, and then we'll begin. Hello, Tyson. Welcome. So, Nikki and or Tyson, if you guys do want to call in, you are more than welcome. No pressure, of course. We keep it as a friendly chat, just trying to figure out what's going on in this whole case, trying to figure it out together. It's more than confusing. So many questions and no answers, really. So just give me a sec to get everything set up here. If you guys have questions in the meantime, let me know, and I'll try to answer them however way I can. Where is everybody from? And what do you know or believe about this case so far? So many different stories. Who knows what's real, what's not anymore? I mean, one question I have is, among many, how do we know he even went back home at all? All we can go by is what the parents have told us. There hasn't been any photo or video of him actually going back home or ever stepping foot inside the house. Mickey says people do crazy things today, so it's hard to say what's really going on. Ain't that the truth? Nikki and Tyson, where are you guys from? Are you in the States? My guess is yes. If one of you can do me a favor, let me see if I can do it this way. Hold on. You're backstage. Okay, let me see if I can figure this out. Hold on. Guess. Brand. Comments. More. Hey, Tony. Laundrie's parents and lawyers seem 45 days ahead of the police. Let me see, Tyson. I'm trying to get you to come on here. Again, this is the first time I'm using it on the via the phone. So let me see how I can get you on here. But hang tight. I'll get you in here. I think that's the wrong code. I don't think that's the right code. Hang on. Sorry about that. Again, it's the first time I'm doing this, so on phone. So just give me one sec. Tell me if that one came up. on the screen, in the chat box. And let me try to. I can't pin that. Okay, hold on. I can do it via the tablet. Pin that message. Okay, that's the right link. Let me put that one on the screen so people aren't calling the wrong one. Should be on the screen now. Okay. And it does show that, Tyson, you're in there. So let me add you now. Hey, Tyson, are you there?
Yeah, hey man, how's it going?
Okay, good. Sorry about that, man. Technical difficulties, you know what I'm saying?
No, it's all good. It's all good. How are you doing tonight?
So, yeah, not bad, not bad. Where are you calling from?
I'm
Utah,
in
right?
Utah. Yeah.
So, what do you know about this case, or what is your feeling or thoughts?
Well, I heard about it on the 10th when they reported her missing, and I think as most of the country, kind of got obsessed with it and was like, "What's going on? Why is he not talking?" And like, I don't know, I'm just seeing the whole thing relating to like how they went there and then they came back, and then it's just been really interesting to. I'm sorry, so he just came back alone. And then what the police have been doing. But I just have a question for you. What do you think about how the FBI said we're not going to surveil him, and then they it's not our job to surveil him
To be
as a
honest with you,
journalist?
I always thought right from the body cam video that they should have been separated right then and there. I don't understand why they allowed them to
Mm,
get back together at that time. All this
mm.
could have been avoided if they separated them then, but they didn't, as we all know. So I think that was the mistake. But again, if you watch, did you watch the body cam video?
Oh, absolutely. The whole thing.
And he does not seem like the type of guy that would do anything heinous, you know?
He seems very distant. I watched a few videos relating to his body language, and some forensic psychologists actually did a few videos on him, and that it seems that potentially maybe Gabby got upset and he didn't know how to handle it. And sometimes people can get violent in that sense. And one of the things I just learned that was really interesting is so they actually have a group Spotify account that they did, Gabby and Brian.
Right.
And after she was reported missing on the 25th, so not reported missing, but they think that she went missing on the 25th. Uh, there were some songs added that were like morbid and that weren't very
What kind of songs?
conducive.
Like, do you know what songs were?
I can't remember the exact song, but I think it was about something like a dead honey badger or something. I think it's on YouTube. I can pull that up and get the link if you guys wanna.
Hang on, I can't. I think I lost you, or the audio cut out for a sec.
Hello. Can't hear me?
Hang on, let me try it on the tablet. See if your volume's okay on there. Say something again.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you on the tablet. Let me try to just boost up the volume on here. Okay, sorry. Yeah, you were saying something about the songs there.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't
Do you
find the
know
video right now, but there was a video that came out, and I just wanted to, what do you think about that, and what do you think about the TikToker and whatnot that came out and
that
said that she got in the car?
yeah, I posted that video earlier too. She had a lot of information that I don't know how she would or why she would want to make it up if it wasn't true.
Hmm. So
But because again, that's kind of like infringing on this whole investigation if it's indeed fake, right? So I mean, why would you do that just for TikTok views?
right. I mean, people do that, and she looked kind of young, so I don't know. In that case, if she'd understand the consequences. I mean, if she said in the videos that she specifically told the FBI this, I mean, that's false reporting if that's incorrect, and it seems to be somewhat corroborated. But it's just so weird that they didn't have surveillance on him and they weren't watching him. I mean, they
But
watch everybody.
if she was risking getting in trouble, that last video that she made, I think was only from this afternoon sometime.
Which video?
The one on the TikTok there, that Miranda, whatever her name is, Miranda something.
Miranda Baker, yeah.
Yeah, she posted her last video about this whole thing like this afternoon. So I mean,
Mm,
if she was in trouble, she's still going on about it. So obviously she's so far
mm.
legit, I guess.
How do you think this is going to end?
Huh. Um, well, I was speaking to a guy on Spaces on Twitter about half an hour ago, and he said he's from that area, And I asked him about, because they were saying that Brian might have gone into that field there near his house. So I said, well, is there any kind of like wild animals that could have basically eaten them up, and you would never find them if they tore them apart that way? And he said,
Mm,
oh, well, the most dangerous animal they have there is the bobcat.
mm,
So that's really nothing. I mean, you'll find bones or something of that effect. But then he
mm.
was saying they also have alligators. Well, if the alligator
Yeah,
gets
I
them,
I saw
they're not going to find
conflicting
nothing.
reports about that, correct, as well. Yeah,
So,
if they have alligators, I mean that's basically it. And I mean, I understand as to why people are being very positive, and I really do hope she's alive and she comes home. But I mean, it's been like 3 weeks, so I mean, this is more than likely. And I'm just a random bystander, and this looks like a homicide investigation based on every fact ever. I just can't imagine that this
mhm.
doesn't end that way.
So, um, do you think at all that she's still alive in any way?
I would bet 1,000 to 1 odds. No, I mean from the videos. I mean, obviously, I watched a recent amount, but I don't like know who she is. Before that, but she seems like most people who are like to go to the city and they mostly are there, but then they go hiking and they do that kind of thing. And like she didn't seem like a survivalist, and so even the best case scenario, if she was left out there, Brian just freaked out and drove away. I mean, either she would have been close enough to civilization to come back, or she, was too far away. And then the elements out there, I don't know how it is in Grand Teton, but in Utah, it gets like you can get, 20 degrees. And, unless you're wearing pretty substantial, stuff, and then there's water and food. And it's like if you didn't know how to survive, there's all these reasons to think that there was either foul play or she's incapacitated in some way.
Do you think the his parents might be involved in any way, shape, or form? Like even trying to protect him, of course, being the son and everything.
Oh,
Like, do you think he
totally.
even went back home at all?
I haven't seen any evidence to say that, but I mean, technically, I was on this other stream today, and I was talking to this lawyer, and basically, you don't need to be in person in order to get that legal relationship with an attorney. So he very well could have not been there, but I think the police probably do have some sort of evidence to say that he came home. So I think he probably did come home.
Yeah, I think I saw that one. Isn't that like your lawyer here or something like that? He has like a
Yeah,
3-word name or something.
yeah, hmm,
Yeah, yeah, he was
100%.
on this afternoon too.
Yeah, that one was
Uh,
really insightful.
yeah, I mean, everybody has so many questions. There's so many people enthralled in this case, and
Mm,
yeah, because I mean, whenever there's so many questions unanswered, you're always more invested in it.
right.
Uh, Again, what if the best case scenario would be it's just one big hoax? That's really the only
Yeah, I
way
don't
she
think
can
that.
be alive.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, technically speaking, and that lawyer also mentioned this, that if it was a hoax, I mean, they technically have not committed a crime by because neither of them have spoken, right?
Hmm.
So technically speaking, to file a false report or to be potentially liable if this was a hoax for all of the resources going to find them, especially Gabby, they would have to specifically say, this happened. But by being silent, they could have plausible deniability. But I mean, you got to think. I mean, Brian's life is ruined. Like he's probably guilty, but regardless of his guilt, his life is totally ruined, like for sure, for sure. And I don't think that's worth a hoax. And if you look at the family, I mean, these people are like struggling, they're in pain. And I just
Yeah, but you
can't
know what?
imagine that they would do that.
But rewind a sec. You said his life is ruined, but at the same time, suppose they find him tomorrow. Okay,
Yeah.
they can't charge him because he's not a
Oh, yeah.
suspect.
No. Oh, yeah.
So
The
even if
Northport
you
police check.
find him tomorrow, what can you do? Nothing. He doesn't have to
Nope.
say anything.
Yeah, my question is, I mean, it's like you would think there would be two scenarios for him. Obviously, the best thing would happen is if he just came forward and just told, everybody where Gabby was. But from his perspective, I don't see the reason. Like, I don't think he's walking out of that forest because if he wanted to leave, and the lawyer also spoke to this to my comment, he can just get on a plane to a non-extradition treaty. Like, he can just go. Like, they can't stop him. He's not convicted of a crime. He's not, quote unquote suspected of a crime. And so if he wanted to just transfer his money to Bitcoin and leave, he could. So I think he probably went to that forest. He's probably not coming back. I don't think he, you know what I mean?
So you think he committed suicide?
I think they're gonna find him in 2 days, probably. Yeah, I don't think he's coming out of that forest. But if he does, I mean, they're literally gonna. I think Josh something, the detective for the Northport Police, said we are gonna ask him, hey, can you know where Gabby is now? And that's gonna be it. And then they're gonna drive him home.
And if
Although,
but again, he doesn't have to say anything, and he could still get
oh
away with
no,
it until they find a body or her at all. He can live the rest of his life without any repercussions.
it's true. I mean, the social repercussions he's gonna have to go through are gonna be pretty hardcore. Which I mean, if he killed her, that's totally reasonable, of course. But I'm sorry, can you say that one more time? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, he can. And I mean, he's invoked his Fifth Amendment rights. So there are some people who say, you can't even ask him that question. Like, as soon as someone invokes counsel. And what's been really interesting about this, I don't know if you noticed this, is a lot of people are asking, why can't he just get pulled in by the police and interrogated until he tells them? But, sometimes there are prices to pay for having constitutional rights, like for me and you to not be falsely interrogated by the police. Guilty people also have the right, not saying he is guilty, but he might potentially be guilty. You have the right to remain silent. You have constitutional rights.
And what about if they're looking in the wrong spot? They're just going by what the parents said.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I mean, it's like you can even see from the detective in the videos when he talks about the search going on. It's like he could have given, God forbid that he killed her. I mean, he could have dropped her body off anywhere along the entire country.
That's what I'm saying. She might never be found, and he got away with it.
I
Basically.
highly doubt it. I highly doubt they will. And he can be prosecuted, but it's very difficult to be prosecuted without a body. But if there's evidence that she's dead, then yes, there can be, right? And that Spotify thing, I really do think that will probably become a thing in the case. I mean, people have been convicted of murder completely on circumstantial evidence before. It's possible, but I think that he's probably not going to come out of that forest, and if he does,
if he's there at all.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if he is there, let's say the parents are right and he walks in there with a backpack. I'm a pretty avid hiker, and I've done a lot of really deep hiking in Montana and in Idaho, and I can tell you, you don't go into a densely forested area with a backpack. You go in there with a tent. You go in there with lots of gear. At the very least, they've got cougars in there, I think I saw. But if they do have alligators and stuff, I mean, could he not just get eaten by an alligator? Like how?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If he does, you're not going to find any kind of proof of him being there at all.
No, yeah. I
mean, they'll eat up
bones.
everything.
I mean, hypothetically, you could get bones, but I'm not sure if, yeah. It'd be, I wonder if the parents will come out if it does come out that he's dead. I wonder if the parents will. But I do think the parents are, obviously they're protecting him. I mean, it'd kind of be hard for him to come home and be like, hey, mom and dad, I can't tell you anything, but we're about to be the most infamous family in the United States of America, right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. So what do you think? Do you think that there's any hope of her being alive?
No.
None at all.
Unless it's a hoax, as you mentioned. If it's a hoax, which I don't believe that to be the case whatsoever, that's the only way she's alive.
Yeah, I don't think it's a hoax either, but I mean, that's really the only way we can hope that she still has a chance of being alive, right?
Yeah.
So
that would be really, I mean, obviously that it would be better if it was a hoax, right? I mean, it's better for people to be alive and have it be a hoax than have them be dead, I think. So hopefully it is a hoax. Hopefully,
and knowing what we know about the location of where the parents say he went, and knowing that there's probably just bobcats, and if he doesn't go that far, no alligators or whatever, do you think he's still alive?
I think that, and I'm not sure if I'm up to date on what animals are exactly. If it is really just bobcats, and he wants to be alive. And I think the police officer, Josh Trevor, I think it is, or something like that, the Northport police, mentioned that, he could be in danger because he's under a lot of pressure, insinuating that he may, commit suicide or something. But if he wants to live and it's just bobcats, he could probably live. But people don't go into the forest with just a small backpack. 3 days
No.
ago. And it's like, I heard there were helicopters right over the house. Like, he's not there anymore. You know what I mean? And all of this could have been completely avoided if they had just put, some random deputy to watch the front and the back of the home.
So do you think that during that body cam that they did let them go just because of the way he was acting, that he was kind of like, seemed like an okay kind of guy, and things just got out of hand just like a normal relationship would once in a while?
Obviously, this is just a layman, my layman opinion, but I think it's reasonable that, based on the police officer when she was talking to Gabby, and it's a little bit eerie, how much he continuously tries to deflect and say, no, it's her, not me, and whatnot, until the end, when he sort of, to some extent wants to protect her. But when it comes to Gabby, it's like, if you see the police officer is actively telling Gabby to watch what she says so he doesn't have to, arrest her. So I think the police officer had empathy for Gabby, because I mean, if you watch the video, I mean, the only person who committed a crime at that point known was Gabby, scratching his face. And so I don't think the police, wanted to arrest her. But I don't think there was any basis for them to arrest him at that point. But it probably, would have, avoided this whole situation if they did arrest somebody at that point.
Yeah, but it's always easy to look back now and say, they should have
Right.
done this, they should have done that, right? After the
2020
fact,
vision.
it's much easier.
Yeah, right. I mean, they had no idea, the police officers, that this would happen. So they just tried to give them a break. But yeah, sometimes it doesn't work out too well.
Tina says wildlife in Florida includes alligators, bears, mountain lions, bobcats, several poisonous snakes, etc. Tina, are you from that area, or just curious how you got that information? Because again, from a person I spoke to earlier, what's that?
She did say she is from Florida.
Oh, is she?
Earlier in the chat, yeah.
So maybe she does know more. I mean, Florida's pretty massive too.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah.
Yeah. What about in your area? Did you Utah? Wasn't that?
It's one of the places they visited. Yeah, that's actually the last place she was seen alive on the 24th, was in Salt Lake City. Yeah.
So whereabouts in Utah are you? Are you close to Salt Lake?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm about, I would say, 30 miles away from the capital, actually. And so, I mean, it's really eerie. I think one of the reasons that people have been so engrossed in this whole thing is that, if they traveled across the country and everyone's like, wow, she was right there. And now it's this huge thing,
Yeah.
And so it's like, she was in Salt Lake City here. Like, I could have seen her. I think that's what everyone's asking themselves,
Wasn't Travis Alexander from Utah?
I'm not sure exactly who that is.
The one from Jodi Arias,
No, sorry.
You don't know the Jodi Arias case? That was really, really famous. Like 4 years ago, she killed him, and I think he was a Mormon or something, which was Utah.
Yeah,
right?
there's a lot of Mormons here. We have we have a lot of them. It's really interesting.
Yeah, that's like the capital for the Mormons, isn't it? Utah.
Well, per capita, I mean, there are more Mormons in Utah than there are in any other place in the world. But per capita, actually, Idaho has more Mormons, so it's more dense in Idaho.
Oh, okay.
Right above. Yeah.
Yeah, the states are just massive. So,
Tina just mentioned OCD. What are your thoughts about how? Oh, sorry. Let me add this. I don't know if you saw this, but one of these reporters basically had pulled on the father of Gabby and was like showing her the video of the body cam footage of his like daughter crying, and you could just tell like he was distraught, and he's like, I didn't want to see that. I don't know why you showed that to me. I can't remember exactly. I think it was ABC or something like that.
Right.
Did you see that?
No, that I didn't see.
It was insane. Yeah. Do you think she's still alive? Just curious.
Again, the only way she can be alive is if this is a hoax, and
Hmm.
as doubtful as that sounds, that's really the only hope we have that, well, I feel that she's alive. That's
So,
the only way. How else can she be alive? I mean, it's been
mm,
almost a month since she spoke to her mom, right? August
right.
25th, was it?
Well, they think it was, well, they don't, basically, the last communication that I heard that they got from them was the 29th or the 30th, but they don't believe that communication
Yeah, that was a
was
text
from
though.
her. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
actual voice or FaceTime was 25th.
Mhm. Yeah. No, it's been so long. It's been a very long time. Did you hear that the incident happened actually on September 9th? This is when the father, right before they filed the missing persons report, apparently they had some sort of altercation outside the home, and it's like highly redacted because of the investigation.
But the body cam was what date exactly?
I think it was August 15th or something like that. It was before. It was at least 10 days before.
So about a week and a half before she actually FaceTimes her parents.
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up right now and get that answer for you. 15th.
So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't see how it's possible. I mean, I'm not like a survivalist or anything, but I mean, she would have to be insanely motivated. And I mean, I don't know how many people they have looking for her, but they already have like 50, law enforcement officers looking for him, and it's been like 2 days. So I'm gonna guess they've probably got at least a few hundred people looking for Gabby. But they have narrowed it down to 2 campsites in Grand Tetons, and they just got the cellular data from both of their phones. And I mean, if you look at the coincide, when that TikToker Miranda Baker came out?
the
That's the
first
day
one?
he left. Yeah, that's the day he left. When she came out and said that he got in his car and offered him $200 for a 10-minute ride,
Yeah.
that is the day that he left, according to the parents. Obviously, the parents could be lying, but I just don't see I don't see why they would do this. Why would, if he wants to escape, why wouldn't he just get on a plane to just like,
Yeah. Again, these are all good questions that nobody has answers to.
yeah.
And the problem is, will we ever have the answers? Like, if this guy never shows up, this will never be solved.
I don't think, I mean, obviously, I mean, if you look at it from a legal perspective, if he does come out of that forest and he decides to still plead the fifth and not say anything, um, unless they find some really intense physical evidence or really, really intense, more likely technological evidence, like the data, like I heard they had Verizon. And so I can tell you firsthand, being in desolate wilderness places, you can actually still get satellite small amounts of data. Like you can still look at your little icon on Google Maps and move and have that move, and so you're still able to get data even if it says you have no service. So they're going to be able to track the situation down. We're going to be able to know kind of what happened, probably, maybe,
Yeah, but there are
but
there are some areas where the reception is just brutal, right? Because I mean, there was
well,
a
it's
guy
gone.
on Twitter there, Brian, I think his name is Brian Enton, who's covering the case, and
Mm-hmm.
he was trying to live stream so many times and kept getting disconnected. And he said that the reception is just really, really poor there. And
Mm,
I mean, he's a reputable guy, so it's not like he's
right.
making this stuff up. So maybe I don't know, like what happened to their phones?
Well, they don't know at the moment.
See,
They haven't found Gabby's phone, and to my understanding, I mean, if he was in any kind of a state of mind, those phones are gone forever. I don't think they'll ever find those phones. I mean, they're probably broken, thrown in some river in the middle of nowhere, like in Wisconsin, not Wisconsin, but somewhere along the way. You know what I mean? From where the Grand Tetons to Florida. I mean, yeah, but there is still that data that pings. And so it depends when those phones were turned off. I'm going to guess they were turned off, but it depends when they were turned off for them to be able to find it. But I just find it insane that the police haven't been able to get that phone data for 8 days. I mean, at least Gabby's data. I mean, I don't know the agreements the service providers have with the police, but I'm sure Gabby's parents would have consented to get that data, and that data can tell you where she roughly was. But the FBI is actively looking right now to know who was in these campsites that they've narrowed it down to a large degree, to be able to find, if anyone saw anything. But another man has come out from Montana and said that he was in a bar with him, and that he was, saying something about Republicans or something and like getting mad at them. And then he left. And so, I mean, I think from all of that, and then you got to realize, I mean, from him driving all the way back,
Mm.
to Florida, there's going to be, I mean, he can't get there on one tank of gas, as the detective also mentioned. We're going to be able to piece this together with or without Gabby and with or without Brian. Even if neither of them are ever seen again, we're going to be able to piece this together, which hopefully they are. We're going
Yeah,
to be
but
able
I
to
mean, look at
we're gonna
the
piece
look at the
together.
stretch between. So how far is Grand Teton from Florida?
I think it's like, you mean drive or like mileage?
Either.
Let's see right now.
I mean, that's a long
It's
stretch.
far. It's like 4 days drive straight, I think.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, that's not looking good. If this guy is not found, I mean, even if he is found, he doesn't have to speak. Chances are so
Yeah, it's
bleak.
35 hours and 2,300 miles. So it's really far. Like he would have had to go get at least, based on, that van, maybe like 6, 7 at least things of gas, tanks of gas. So I think they can piece it together with just the technological, the data from the phones. And then even if they don't find her body, and they don't find his body, if he is in fact, not with us anymore, I do believe they will be able to piece this together to some degree. Probably.
Well, even for gas, what is he? Does he all have cash, or do they not use credit cards?
I don't know specifically, but I mean, this is one of the ways they could have gotten messed up. I mean, unless if he was texting his parents for money, which it seems as though neither of them had specific income, and they were driving around. So I'm going to guess they were potentially loaning money from their parents. If they texted on anything and said, "Hey, mom, something bad happened. I need money," anything like that could be used to prosecute him. And it just, you get enough of those cues and clues. You get enough of those data points. A text here or there, or that text message from Yosemite. I've been to Yosemite, and it's insane how good the service is throughout almost the entire park. You can get 4 bars. Like, it's amazing. And they were nowhere near Yosemite. So you get enough of those clues circumstantially. If he does come out, they can probably charge him. And the police alluded to the fact that they might have evidence enough to arrest him.
But I mean, even the gas stations, don't they have cameras there?
Yeah, that's what I mean. They have cameras all around, and so that they'd be able to see him filling gas, doing anything sketchy. You know what I mean? Just
But
anything
the
like
problem
that.
with the problem with that though too is that he drove the van back home or back to Florida. So even if they have that on cam, there's really nothing to it. I mean, okay, so you have him on cam driving the van. That's normal because he did drive the van back.
Right. I mean, but we don't specifically know when the phones went off or when they went on or whose phone he was using or if he got a new phone or if he destroyed the evidence or if he sent a text message to his parents. All of these things mixed together. I mean, technologically, there's a lot of metadata and there's a lot of things that the police can find. And I think that as the time goes on, they're going to be able to piece it together as like a map to figure out exactly what roughly. They may not be able to know exactly what happened between him and Gabby, especially if Brian, did kill her and then did get rid of her body. There's going to be no way to know what happened in that scenario, probably.
Well, they
But
were saying even if they find DNA in the van, it's no big deal because it was her van
mhm,
anyway.
right, and and then another thing you would think that he'd be able to go to jail, right? Because he drove the van back without her. That's theft. But they would argue that, if you look at the body cam footage, he's being allowed to drive it. So who's to say that she didn't just get out of the car and say, "Hey, just go, and you can drive my van"? Well, obviously, it's not plausible, but it's possible. And because it's possible, it doesn't meet the legal standard to charge him with anything. But I mean, he had 10 days to get rid of any evidence in the van relating to her. I mean, there was so much time that without the technological evidence, it's impossible for them to figure this out. But I think the technological evidence will at least give us the story, even if it doesn't lead to his conviction. Do you think he'll get
Um,
convicted?
no, because I mean, there's no body.
Hmm.
Without body, how do you can't charge him.
Well, they can charge him if they can prove he tried to get rid of her body. So
But
if there
how?
was,
How do you prove that?
I mean, I mean, you could say that he was there and then they checked into a campsite potentially. I mean, there are ways to find out where did she go a little bit. You know, they can say if they went to that campsite and something happened to that campsite and then he drove off in the middle of the night and they came there. You know what I mean? If you get enough of these clues, then the police can arrest people. But yeah, without a body, it's very unlikely he will go to jail. But it's not impossible, right? Like if me and you walk into a room and then somehow, you know, something happens and I'm the only one left in the room, just because there's no body doesn't mean that I can't get convicted. You know what I mean? Of some crime. If there was no
So
other
what do
way.
you? Okay, the last time she was on FaceTime was on the 24th or 25th, right?
Yeah.
Was there any news reports or anything as to how the conversation went?
They haven't given any details about that. I mean, as far as my understanding is, and my sort of view on this is that the families basically said, we want to find people who have potential clues to be able to find her. They haven't said anything too much. They've kept most of it to the vest. And I think the FBI probably wants them to do that too. Because if everyone knows what they said, you know, they can't slip up Brian in anything relating to, I mean, just the more the public knows, the worse it is for law enforcement trying to convict him, unless it's specifically related to finding her. Because then, you know, I can't remember the exact legal term, but there's a legal term, you know, that states that if you know something that inherently says that if you know something, then you had to be in a situation to commit a crime to do that, right? That by knowing that, like imagine if someone gets killed in a certain way and the only person who knows about that is the killer because it hasn't been released to the press. That kind of a situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The van was found where
The
in the
the
driveway of
driveway.
the of Brian's?
Yeah, but I mean, obviously that thing was cleaned completely. Like, there's no way there was anything in there at all that would be of any value to them, unless although that car's a little bit older, but newer cars these days, they actually have GPS trackers inside of them that track no matter where you go, and they can
But what
access
year is this
that
van?
data.
Do you know?
That's like 2011. I think they started doing that in like 2015 or something. So I don't
Yeah, I
think
don't
that
think that
has
would
that
have it.
tracking data. And if they did, I mean, they wouldn't need anybody's help. You know what I mean? Because GPSs don't care where you are if you have overhead. If there's nothing above you, the GPS can track exactly where. I'm just disappointed that, I mean, if you think about the technological capabilities we have these days, why did it take the FBI 8 days to get that data for the phones? And why are they not able to piece this together a little bit more?
So wait. So at the end of August, you said that there was like a text message or something where the parents don't even
Mm-hmm.
believe that it was her. They think that it might have
Yeah.
been him, right?
No service in Yosemite is what the
So
text message said.
did his phone go missing as well?
They don't they don't. I'm sure the FBI probably knows whether that phone stopped pinging at some point, but I mean, his lawyer probably, in a roundabout way, if he already didn't do this, said, you know, do you have that phone? Might not be a good idea if you have that phone. You know what I mean? That there's an issue that if he's coming back and he's going to lawyer up, right? If they come and get a search warrant and say, where's your cell phone? We want to know right now. You say, I don't have the cell phone. You know what I mean? And that's it. And they can search your house, they can search your car. But if he doesn't have the evidence and they can't prove that he destroyed it, then they can't access the evidence. And there's a lot of evidence on phones that isn't stored in the metadata that the FBI now has access to. But I mean, I think they probably will potentially arrest him when he steps out of there, based on the hinting of the police when it comes to the evidence they say they have.
So what if this is, and I know this is like so bizarre to even think this way, but
Mm-hmm.
what if, um, because they were both kind of a little, shall we say, messed up in the head, not
Hmm.
100% normal. What if she ended up doing something to him and it's really the other way around? Like we're all talking about him being he's a possible killer
Mm.
or something. How do we know that maybe she didn't do something to him and she drove the van back? Like, where is there any proof that he was the one that drove it all the way back?
Um, I mean, I don't see that being likely. I mean, they've been spending, obviously, a matter of days spending, hundreds of thousands of dollars probably of police resources looking for her. I'm gonna guess they probably confirmed that he drove back. I mean, it's possible that maybe Gabby had an emotional outburst and attacked him. And that lawyer we talked about earlier, he specifically mentioned this, that there are a lot of situations in which a lawyer would tell you not to speak to the police, and that happens to be all of them, right? Because the police can use anything to say, that you say against you. So I don't think that's the case at all. I think it's possible that Gabby maybe started an altercation that ended with him killing her, or maybe an accident happened, you know what I mean? And maybe he freaked out and drove home. I don't know, right? And we probably won't ever know if he killed her or if it was an accident. I mean, that's if they're out of cell service and no one's recording, even with cell service. I mean, how could we ever possibly know without his confession what happened to two people in the middle of nowhere? But
If we can't even get pictures of him at a gas station filling up gas, let alone
I think the police have that.
okay, but they also said that he went home and that he told his parents he was going hiking or whatever. But there's no video, there's no photos of him anywhere around his house.
Hmm.
Like you guys got like street light cameras and all that stuff too, right?
Yeah.
So you would think that somewhere something has to be showing him somewhere around the area.
I'm gonna guess that there's probably street camera footage showing him driving in, but I mean that's from the city, like they're not gonna show that to the public. I mean, they just don't have any reason to do that. But when it comes to him going off into the woods, I mean, maybe they do have some sort of evidence that he went there, but maybe not. I saw this one interesting thing where this guy took a picture of this guy who kind of looked like him, but with how much misinformation is around this, that's the biggest thing about this is it's
That's
hard to
what they're
know what's
talking about
true.
in chat, and that's why I'm not even following that because that could have been anything, and that's just I don't
Yeah,
believe that photo at all.
it's possible. Um, I mean, I think that's the reason why it's captured everybody, right? I mean, everyone has an opinion, everyone wonders, but I mean, most likely, I think what happened is probably accident, murder, either one. He probably was stressed out, freaked out, and then probably decided he didn't want to go to jail, got rid of all the evidence. And then, I think that by him going in there, it's more likely that he's not coming out than he is. So he probably has a lot of guilt right now. This is all allegedly, by the way. I don't know
Of
whether or
course.
not he did that. But, I don't think he's coming out of that forest, and I don't think they find Gabby anywhere
Well, it's the same thing with
for
that
at least
couple they were
years.
talking about that got murdered, right? That lesbian couple. And
Yeah.
then right away they say, well, no, he's not connected to that at all. So then who is connected to that one? They don't even talk about that.
Yeah, I mean the scary thing is that, and this is the thing about serial killers in general. Not to say that guy's a serial killer, but maybe is that the way the police, and this also goes into his lawyer statement. The way the police find people is they say you're close to them. You're a significant other, you're a family member, you're a friend. Those are the people who are statistically way more likely to kill you. So that's why it's so hard for the police to find people like serial killers who some random weird guy says today's the day I'm going to kill two lovely young women just camping. What do? You know what I mean? If they can't match those bullets and they can't match anything else, I mean, if someone, that's the thing about society that's sort of unnerving is that if someone wanted to do you harm and get away with it, they could. They probably could if they didn't know you. If it was just some random person, that's the scary thing. Especially pre 1980s. I mean, you could just drive away. And that was a really, it's really scary.
So what do you think he's alive still?
Mm, I mean, you got to think like, is he sleeping on the ground or something in the middle of the wilderness? In the middle of a swamp where there's alligators and stuff. No, I mean, I think he hiked probably for a full day, found a really beautiful place, and then, decided he was probably not going to do it anymore. Hopefully that's not the case. But, you know, with that lawyer's confirmation that he could just leave the country, I mean, if he wanted to escape, he could have left the country. I think basically he likely did it, and now he's having guilt, and I don't think he's coming out of that forest. And without him, we're probably not going to get a lot of closure. So I don't think he's coming out of that forest ever. Well, he might come out, but if he comes out, he's not coming out alive, is what I mean to say.
And okay, and suppose he does come out and he does come out alive, do you think he will speak at all? No way.
I mean, it really just depends about his mindset, right? I mean, if we're assuming he went in there because he's having a lot of guilt and he went in there and then decides not to do it, maybe. But based on his cold demeanor relating to just coming back home, not caring about the family, telling the families at all about anything, I don't think that he's going to suddenly turn over a new leaf and tell them anything. I think if he comes out, he wants to live his life, and he's not going to do that if he incriminates himself by telling them anything. Because if he says anything about Gabby and they ever find her, he's going to prison probably for the rest of his life. So either, I mean, this is just so sad, that like, how is their family going to get closure if the only two rational options are either he doesn't come out? I mean, maybe he leaves a note. You know what I mean? Maybe he leaves a note. Maybe that's what somebody to get closure. But I mean, can you see a reason? And this is all assuming he went in there. That's just the family's word. Who's to say we can, you know what I mean? They said we think he's there. So even if they know he's not there, he could be anywhere. But I just don't see why, if he wanted to escape, he wouldn't just leave the country. I mean, do you see a
Well,
reason?
that would make the most sense because again, if he's been gone for now almost 1 week, I don't think he would. Can you really survive in that kind of a place for 1 week? I mean, how
I
much
haven't
food
ever,
can you have in a backpack? I don't
yeah,
think
and
enough to survive a week.
yeah, and not even to mention the wildlife, or where would he sleep? Like on the ground? Because I mean, even if there are just bobcats, man, I mean, like, you don't want to be sleeping on and they have like venomous snakes all over that place. Maybe he hiked, gets bitten, although apparently he had been there a lot before. I mean, I think they're just speculating. I don't think they know that he went there. He could
And again, yeah, the
literally be
more time
anywhere.
that goes by, there's no way you could be in there because again, how do you survive 1 week with the amount of water you can have in a backpack anyway? You can't. It's physically impossible.
Mm. Yeah, Tina just mentioned that she's thinking of giving $10,000 to have him come to the police station and tell the attorney, where Gabby is. But I mean, there's no way he's gonna do that. I mean,
I
I
don't
bet
think
his
for that kind of
I
money he's going to do anything.
I don't think he would do it for any amount of money. I mean, I'm sure that lawyer. I looked up the sort of the average billing rate of his lawyer, Stephen Brunello.
Hmm.
Man, it's like $600 an hour.
Well, yeah, all lawyers are expensive.
Yeah, I mean, how many hours do you think he spent talking to them about this? Probably a fair amount. So I don't think for any amount of money he does this. I mean, you have to understand, anything he says can be used against him. And so either
Hmm.
I think he decides he's going to tell everybody, but people don't do that. And especially based on his demeanor, people don't just come out and say this. You know what I mean? They don't just come out and incriminate themselves when they've acted in such a methodical manner to drive back. Do you think that when he, because he, by the way, he left her right before, I'm not sure the exact date, but this was right before August 24th, they left Salt Lake City and she was taken out of the hotel. They specifically, he drove back and helped his dad clear out the storage unit. And the mother is now saying, "Where's my daughter's things?" You know what I mean?
Oh, I didn't know that.
What's going on there? You know what I mean?
There's another
Why would
story.
he fly? Because you got to think about how much money that costs. And that goes to, again, of like, do these people have any other sources of income, or how are they paying for this without their parents? You know what I mean?
Do you know what they did before they went on their trip? Like what
Um,
their job or occupation was?
I have no idea what. I mean, it seems to me that Brian seemed kind of like a drifter. I don't know that. Right. This is all speculation. But I did hear in the body cam footage that she used to be a nutritionist or something. So maybe she had some money. But she said she worked at an organic juice shop, I think, at the body cam footage when they
Okay.
separated them at the body cam. I don't see them having. I mean, you got to realize they're doing this for months. You know what I mean? Unless his family has money or someone has money and someone's giving them money, I don't see how they could even do this trip. Because I actually know people who do van life, and it's not super expensive, but you know, you don't have an extra $600-700 to fly back to Florida and then fly back again and have her stay in a hotel. You know what I mean? Like, it is a little bit expensive.
Again, I just keep going back to the fact that they say that that's where he went for the last week. I don't know how he can survive if
Yeah.
I don't think he's there. He can't be there because there's no way he can still be alive right now for a week.
Yeah. No, I mean, either the family's lying or, I mean, I don't know. I mean, he seemed like to be a pretty fit guy, and I've never hiked in swamp before, so I don't know what the logistics are of that or how far someone could go in there. But I've hiked 16, 20 miles in a day, so I mean, over that many days, he could have probably gone pretty far in there. But I think they'll probably be searching that place for weeks, and they probably won't. They'll either find his body or he was never there.
Do
Yeah,
you,
you're
do you
right.
know how
I
big
don't.
the place is there?
It's 20,000 to 25,000 square acres. Although obviously he's not going to be going through any of that. I mean, there's like couple of 100-mile range around the entrance. You know what I mean? Because unless he has some sort of vehicle, you're not hiking hundreds of miles in a day.
No, you wouldn't survive. You can't make it.
Yeah, no. And then the more tired he got, the more likely he is to get preyed upon by animals. Yeah.
Just let me interrupt you a sec. The chat's getting a little bit nasty to each other. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, so just be respectable to each other. It's all I ask. I mean,
Whoa.
everybody's welcome here, but I don't want you guys to be like
Yeah.
bashing each other. That's not cool. Let's all
Mm.
keep it like level-headed as much as we can. Just keep your own opinions and say what you want to say, but just be nice to each other. That's all I ask.
Yeah, that does seem really well. I actually have to go right now. It's been really wonderful talking to you. And
Do you have a channel on here? If you want to give a shout out, you're more than welcome to do so, man.
um,
You've been good.
oh, I appreciate you. I mean, I have a channel to which that I post. I posted one video. I don't really post very much, and it was like a review video, like a microphone. So I don't have anything on there. But I mean, I don't know if you want to send me a message or something. I could send you my private chat or whatever. We can talk about it again at some point when more stuff comes out. But it's
Yeah,
been really,
definitely, man. I mean, yeah, if
yeah,
you want to subscribe to the channel, I would appreciate that too.
totally.
And if you want to email me, I'll let me just type in the email address.
Yeah,
Or
there's
when you go to the about page,
yeah,
if you just click on that, you'll see my email on there, and you could just shoot me an email, and I
I
can add you on
will.
there and chat with you.
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Have a good
No,
night,
man, I
man.
appreciate you. I appreciate
Have a
all
good
your
night, everybody.
comments, man.
Yeah,
Have a good one,
absolutely.
man.
Hope Gabby comes home.
Yeah, let's hope.
Yeah, have a good day.
Thanks, buddy. Later. So there we go. That's what this channel is all about. That's what this topic's all about for you guys to call in. And you guys on the chat are just going totally against each other. Come on, man. Peace and love. Let's keep it civil. And if anybody wants to call in, click on the link in the at the top of the pinned chat, and you guys can voice your opinion. Your favorite darkness says, "Good chat. Thank you." Black Sheep wants Nikki to call in. Mike Chen saying he just wants a single source verifying him being seen in Florida. We all do. We all do. I don't think we're going to get it, unfortunately. Your favorite darkness says just to click the dots next to name and block. I don't really want to do that. People have a right to speak. I just don't want people to attack others on here. If it does continue, of course, I'll have to like block some people, but I want to give everybody the opportunity to speak their mind and hopefully just be level-headed and not attack each other. That's not what this is about. And if anybody wants to call in, you're all more than welcome. At the same time, I would appreciate if you guys can give me a thumbs up to the channel, to the video. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe to the channel as well, as I will continue these live streams, hopefully not for much longer, at least until we find her. I want to say alive. So yeah, I appreciate if you guys do subscribe to the channel and just give the video a thumbs up. Once again, if you guys want to call in, the link is on the screen as well as in the pinned comments. Just click on it, and you don't need to go on video. You can just do it by audio, as you heard the previous caller. I want to hear your opinions. What you think happened? What's happening? Where's Brian? Where's Gabby? What's going on? Everybody has a theory, has an opinion. I want to hear yours. Black sheep. Again, I'm gonna say one last time. Don't be name calling people. All right, that's not cool, man. That's not what we're here for. Um, Again, the next person that does attack another user on here is gonna have to be timed out because I want to keep it as calm as possible. We don't need to be attacking each other. That's not what we're here for. We're here to discuss Gabby and hopefully come to a resolution and a happy ending to this one. John, to be honest with you, I never even seen that. So I hope that's a good thing. On a positive note, can you say, okay, you ready? I don't know, again, what I'm supposed to sound like when I say it, but I'll just say it normally. This is the way. Is that good? All right. That's what I'm talking about. All right. So, Black Sheep, you have a good one, man. Freedom of speech is exactly that way, but that kind of language is not free speech, man. Um, yeah, Cassandra, I also think the family may have sent him far away before they called police. I don't see him being in that place that they said he went. Um, John is saying, I sound like that guy in The Mandalorian. You got to watch it. All right, maybe I'm going to have to then. I hope he's a good character, not an evil, mean one. Robert Evans says there's no such thing as free speech. Well, I try to give people their opinion, to voice their opinion. That's the best I can do on this platform. Tony, thank you for the kind words. You like this show. The presenter is excellent. Well, for a rookie, I guess I'm doing okay. Thank you very much. Um, Denver Gigi, welcome to the channel. I don't trust the family. Yeah, there's something definitely up with them. Cassandra is asking Tina, do you think he could survive the gators? She's in Florida as well. Brennan, welcome. I heard a gun missing from Brian's house. It could just be internet BS. I believe it is internet BS. Mike Chin says, thanks for having a level head on the stream versus emotional. It's hard, but I mean, I guess after a while you get used to it. You just chat with people and treat them the way you want to be treated back, you know? Cassandra says, I honestly believe if he went out there, he killed himself and will be eaten, and no answers will come out until she is found. I don't think he went there, to be honest with you. Tina saying, yeah, the missing gun is internet BS. Tony says, I'm going to go have a shower. If Tina calls in, I will return dirty if I have to. What's the big deal with Tina, man? What's everybody going off on Tina for? Robert says, most people don't even know Gabby was in Utah. Yeah, so much misinformation. You got to really be careful who you listen to and what you believe and what you don't. That's why I'm saying come up with your own opinions and comments. I know it's not easy, but if you hear everybody and believe everything you read, you're going to be one messed up soul. David Thompson says, yo, why has nobody considered this the possibility that this is a planned hoax? I did say that it might be, and that's kind of what I'm hoping it is. I think that's really the only way we will find her alive, to be honest with you. Mike Chin says, I'm curious, who is bankrolling the trip? They mentioned woofing worldwide opportunities on organic farms in the dash cam vid. Good question. Tina says, yes, Brian can survive the alligators, bears, mountain lions, poisonous snakes, bobcats, etc. How? Mike Chin, I wonder if they worked on any farms out there. Cassandra, did we ever get actual confirmation that he drove the van back? That's what I was talking about in 10 minutes ago. How do we know it wasn't her or somebody else? We don't, because you would think of all the gas stations that he would supposedly he would have stopped at to get back home. There'd be video or security footage, right? But there's nothing, or that we know of. Tony says Tina's cool and balanced and well informed. I agree. I think all of you all have been, except for that one black sheep who is the black sheep of this channel, but he is no longer here. David Thompson says, I wonder if this could be a planned hoax by an internet fame-seeking couple. That's what I'm hoping for. That's really the only way I think that she can still be alive. Cassandra, I think the FBI is definitely wanting to hide some facts. Tina appreciates you, Tony. Denver says she would not do that to her family. Brennan, I think his parents gave the woods. I think the parents gave the woods as a distraction. I think he's long gone. Cassandra says, I think the FBI would know by now if he was for media attention. Let's see what else there is here. Denver says phone will give law enforcement some good info. What do parents do for a living? Connections? I don't know. Tina says there is no video that we know of from gas stations on the way back to Florida. Law enforcement would not tell us either. That's what I'm saying. If they do have it, we won't know about it. We haven't seen it, so we won't see it. Nikki says there has been a trail from where the van left to where it arrived, gas stations or drive-throughs. Nicole, welcome to the channel. She says maybe he had gas cans in the van, so he didn't have to stop to be seen on surveillance. It's a lot of gas. So I think they were saying it's what, 2,500 miles? I don't know how many gas tanks you're going to need for that, but you're going to need a lot. Tom, welcome. If he somehow flees the country, can they do anything? If they find him tomorrow, can they do anything? Because they don't have a body. Tina, law enforcement never reveal everything in a case. They are usually 10 steps ahead of the public. Hopefully they are in this one too. Cassandra says, good question. I wonder what his parents do as well. Denver says, the only info we'll get is from Gabby's family and friends. We see how the laundries are. Definitely. I'll go on for about another 10 minutes or so. So if anybody does want to call in, um, do so now. So that way we can have some of your thoughts and opinions before I end the stream and give you some time to chat. But I'm definitely glad that you guys are interested, and the 99% of you are level-headed and speak through your mind and not, as that one person said, as a caring type of person. So I appreciate that very much. And I would definitely love for you guys to subscribe to the channel, as you guys do honestly seem like my type of people that I would love to have as part of the Trending Rabbit family. I will be doing more live streams on this case, so I would definitely appreciate each and every one of you coming back and chatting again. And I don't think as Black Sheep said, keep begging for likes. I only think I asked once in the whole hour that I've been live. But anyways, Robert Evans says, "Why not just revoke that Constitution, right? If you don't, oh, hold on. If you don't like people being able to remain silent, Well, he has been silent. Tina says, I hope Brian airs out his dirty laundry soon. I think that's got to go with a. Um, Brennan says, I'm going to join now. Thank you very much, Brennan. Appreciate that. And welcome to the Trending Rabbit family. Your favorite darkness says, thinks she'll be found in the next few weeks. Let's hope so. Where are you from, Rabbit? I'm from the rabbit field. No, I'm from Canada, actually. I'm from Canada, eh? I was born in Venice. Yes, Venice, Italy, not Venice, Florida. Nikki, I'm surprised not one store owner has not come forward to say they saw Brian on his way back home. Somebody had to run into him. Cassandra says, can they possibly charge his family with misuse of state resource for the search efforts? I would think so. That's a lot of resources. Tina says, Robert, revoking any right would make us no better than North Korea, China, Russia, etc. Correct, Tina. Tina knows what she's talking about. Tina, where are you? You're the one from Florida, or previously from Florida, right? I think that's what you said in the beginning of the chat. Your favorite darkness? Okay, thought so. Callie here. How did you think so? I never once in this whole video, I don't think, said A. So how did I give it away that I was Canadian? A. Oops. Uh-huh. Robert Evans says, I didn't say if someone has remained silent. I said if you don't like someone being able to remain silent. Cassandra says rabbits are hot, especially when they hop, right? Tina, Brian's parents can be charged with obstruction if they purposely mislead the police. Cassandra, Tina, that's what makes law so fun. Thank you. David Thompson is asking, have we heard anything from Brian's friends regarding his character? Feels like we know very little about him. I haven't heard any mention at all about his friends or who they are or what they think of him or anything. Good question. Your favorite darkness? You guys don't hear your own accent, but we do. Haha. Oh, okay. So you're from Cali, right? So do you guys speak like surfers and like dude and all that? You know I'm kidding, right? Nicole wants someone to call in. Hey, Nicole, why don't you call in? Just kidding. You don't have to if you don't want to. Don't be shy. Give it a try. A. Man, I love doing this format. You get to meet so many cool people. You guys, honestly, it's going to sound like I'm kissing all your asses, but I'm not. You guys are all cool. I appreciate each and every one of you, honestly. And I'm not saying that to like, oh, please subscribe, whatever. I'm being serious. Uh, your favorite darkness? I always say, dude. Haha, I told you. That's because you're from Cali, man. You're a surfer, dude. Cassandra, yeah, where is all the info on his parents and his friends? All very strange. Strange indeed. People are strange. Do you guys know that song? What group is that? There's your trivia for tonight. Tina, I lived in Florida for a while, but I live in Ohio now. That's right. Yeah, you said that in the beginning. I work in the courts. I used to do crime scene photos for law enforcement in Florida. I have scarring moments from those photos. That must be really, ugh, I can't imagine that sticks with you for life, huh, Tina? Or should I say, A, Tina? Uh, Wade, are you able to show stuff on your screen like Brian's Instagram? Are you able to show stuff on your screen? Like what kind of stuff do you mean? Justin Fry, you got it. The Doors, Nikki, he just beat you to it, but yeah, you guys are both right. And Wade is right too. Wow, you guys know your music. Respect. Steven says, I believe this girl is no longer alive. Unfortunately, I'm steering towards that way as well. But again, you always got to have faith and hope, especially in a sad, sad case like this, that there is somehow, some way that she's alive. And I think the only way that that's possible is if this was just one big hoax, which I know they'll both be in trouble if it was. But at the same time, at least we know that they're both still alive. Because again, we're painting him as a bad guy. We don't really know if he's in some sort of trouble too. You know what I mean? We got to keep our mind open until we know the full total story. Tina says you are cool too, training rabbit. I wonder which rabbit in my backyard you are. LOL. No comment. Your favorite darkness says she's not. Unfortunately, that's the way it's leaning. Cassandra tried to call in, but I don't know my Gmail password. Oh, come on, Cassandra. Are you serious? Um, don't know if you can bypass that at all. Well, how do you get onto YouTube? Or if you go onto Gmail, doesn't it like have the stars on it already? Steven says she would have found a way to contact someone by now. Not if she is in the middle of nowhere. David Thompson, this hoax thing honestly does make sense. The facts we know thus far don't really add up. There's so many pieces missing. That's correct, David. Cassandra says app. Oh, I think you're trying to go on through the app. Is that what you mean? So what happens when you type in or click on the link, the StreamYard link? Is there any way to bypass the login screen, or like what happens when you try to call in? I'll give you a few more minutes to try to figure it out. I'll go for another five minutes or so, and then we'll call it a night. Problem is because my battery's almost dying, to be honest with you. Favorite darkness. The only piece missing is her body, which will be found. Hopefully. No one knows for sure. Robert says the cop during the domestic violence thing told Brian not to miss a park that was right by Yosemite. Justin, welcome. Unfortunately, I don't think there's going to be any new info for a while. Yeah, and the info we've been getting isn't really groundbreaking either, unfortunately. Sorry, I'm here, guys. Just give me a sec. Trying to find some information here. David says, remember that girl in California who went jogging and was supposedly kidnapped and beaten by what she called two Mexican females? They never solved the case and had zero supporting evidence. I know, so many different cases, so many weird cases, a lot of unresolved ones. Nikki says, the more time that passes, the more decomposition and less forensic evidence to work with. David says, what I mean is odd things are constructed sometimes. Yeah, definitely, David. I hear you. Brennan, strange brew, but there are a lot the police ain't saying to the public. Usually that's the case. They don't want to give all the information to the public. Tina says, what part of Canada are you in, Trending Rabbit? Towards, let's just say, Eastern time zone. Then you guys can figure out where I'm from. Brennan says there are a lot the police ain't telling us. But they can't. They shouldn't, I don't think, anyway. I mean, of course, we all want to know, but there's some things that they just shouldn't tell. David says, but dude, I hope he didn't get into a fight with her and leave her stranded in the desert somewhere. What a horrible ending that would be. Agreed. I got Wade waiting to come in, so let's get him in here. Add him. Wade, how are you?
I'm good. Hello, hello.
Awesome. Welcome, man.
Thank you. It's my first time on your channel.
That's good. I'm glad you found me. How did you find me, by the way? Just did a search or what?
Yeah, I was searching for live streams that were discussing this case.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few of them out there, and very, very interesting talk. I mean, there's so many different opinions, and people have something to say. It's really interesting,
I definitely have a lot of opinions,
and I
but
definitely want to hear them. But first of all, where are you calling from?
I'm in the United States, Southern
Are you?
United States.
Oh, okay. Towards Florida or what?
No, more Midwest.
Okay, no worries. All right, so yeah, what's your thoughts, feelings about this whole thing?
Well, I just joined your stream, so I'm not sure what you've already covered, but is there
Doesn't
any?
matter. It's your opinion, man. It's always something new.
I have so many opinions.
It's all right. Start from the beginning, man. We got time.
Okay, well, I was about 6 years old.
No, not that far back, man.
Okay, okay, sorry about
Just kidding. Go ahead.
that. Well, I was the one that asked you if you're able to show stuff on your screen, like Brian's Instagram. I didn't know if you have the technology available to you to pull things up
Yeah,
on
I
the
know what.
screen or
Okay,
not.
yeah. Now you're the guy, that guy. On the PC I can do it, but right now I'm using the mobile,
Okay.
so I can't really do much from this other than just talk to you guys on here. But tomorrow I'm going to be doing a live stream as well, so I might be able to do it tomorrow. But what is it like that you wanted me to pull up? I can definitely do it tomorrow or whenever we do it again.
Well, what I thought was kind of the most concerning for me was when I was looking at his Instagram. He's a
Yeah.
very good he's a very good artist, and I think he's probably pretty intelligent, if not highly intelligent, and he's he's uh, he's kind of intellectual. Seems to like to read a lot and stuff like that. So, but his art's a little bit dark. He had a couple of drawings. He said, "I just need to add some chainsaws and some blood and gore to it." And
Oh, he's one of those.
yeah, one of the books he was reading was this book called Lullaby, and I've never read it, but I read the synopsis of it. And apparently, some guy's like a reporter. He's investigating like stillbirth deaths or something like that, and then he realizes there's this connection between the deaths and the lullaby, and so then he starts realizing that anytime that he reads this lullaby to someone, that they end up dying or something like that, and so he starts using it to kill people he doesn't like. That's kind of the gist of it. I don't know how accurate that is, but that's what I get out of the synopsis that I read. And
But
I
this
just
is
think,
on his Instagram.
yeah, he's just going on and about how wonderful. It's apparently the same guy that wrote Fight Club, so that does have a big following. And I'm not saying that I don't know much about this particular author, but that one, the Lullaby book, just seems really dark to me. And then if you look at his business card, which he puts next to all of his drawings,
Mm.
it's an ice cream bar. It's kind of melting and has a bite out of it, and you see the handle, like any ice cream bar would have a handle, right?
Yeah.
Well, the handle is actually the handle of a knife, and so inside the ice cream bar is a what's the word I'm looking for? Serrated, is that the right word? But it's kind of a what's a knife, and not just like a standard knife, more of a knife that I guess you'd use for hunting or something. And so it's, to me, what I get out of that is it's kind of a take on how Halloween, sometimes people put like razor blades in apples or something like that.
Mm-hmm,
Right.
mm-hmm.
Right. It's this knife in an ice cream bar and there's a bite out of it. So at some point you're going to bite the knife. And I just think that's a little bit dark. Having an
Do
interest
you
in
know
something,
how when these are from?
those seem to be from right before they set out on their travels.
So pretty recent.
Yeah.
Now, do they go further back, or are these just like this new thing that he just started to do? Or do you know?
No, I don't really know. I didn't spend a whole lot of time on it. To me, that was enough to kind of get an idea that
Character.
yeah. And the thing is, it's not just that. He seems very antisocial to me, and there's a lot of he's always criticizing other people's actions as if they're less human than him. And I think at one point he basically says I don't really like people.
But I wonder what kind of medication they're on, because I heard that both of them are pretty heavily medicated.
Well, I noticed that they bleeped out some things on the body cam.
Yeah, quite a few.
To me, it seemed like that's what they were talking about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We won't know what they're on or what they had.
No, I did hear someone say that maybe they had heard the unedited version of the body cam or something, and that they had both said that they were on medication but were currently not taking it, or that they had been. Now, I don't know if there's. I don't really like to talk about things that I can't see with my own eyes.
Yeah, so yeah. That's why I was saying. I mean, has anybody even heard as to what kind of medication they ever took? But I don't think we'll ever find that out. That's way too personal. I mean, on the video of the body cam, he didn't seem like the type of guy that was like off the rails or anything like that, you know?
No, I'm glad you brought that up too, because I've watched that a couple of times, and the first time I watched, I didn't really pick up on a lot. I thought, yeah, pretty normal behavior under the circumstances. But then I started rewatching it. I noticed that someone had pointed out in the comments of the video that they put up on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
There's one point where she says something and she kind of moves her arms around, and then he kind of repeats what she said, moves his arms around. And some of the comments said something about he's marrying her, as if that's not a good thing. And I would have never noticed it, but I thought, well, let me look this up. So I started looking up marrying, and it's something that psychopaths do, because there's sociopaths, right? They don't really have the ability to feel things the same way other people do. And so they have difficulty interacting with people and building relationships. And so apparently what they learn to do is kind of mimic the behavior of the people that they want a relationship with. And that's called mirroring.
Yeah.
And I'm not an expert, and I just read a little bit about it. So don't hold me accountable for that. And I thought, okay, well, that's interesting. So let me look at the body cam footage a little bit more and kind of study his behavior.
Right.
And in the beginning, he's very apologetic, saying, I'm sorry I hit the curb. If I was speeding, I apologize. And apparently he was going over 40, maybe 45 in a 15-mile-an-hour zone. So how do you not know you're speeding? I don't know. But I'm surprised they didn't seem to even give him a ticket for that. Of course, that's not why they were chasing him down. But he's smiling and very apologetic and accommodating, almost kind of trying to befriend the officers in a sense. But their story,
like that.
Yeah, but the stories matched up, so it seems like he was being pretty honest. But then when it gets to the point where the officer said, okay, we're going to file charges on her, and this is how things are going to go down. You're going to have a virtual hearing. And at one point, he goes, yeah. And he interrupts the officer, and then he kind of follows that up with, and I'm just paraphrasing. He says something like, look, just tell me what I need to know. I just need to know the exact steps I need to go through to make this go away. And so what I realized at that point is his demeanor is completely changing. Once he realized that he's not getting the outcome that he was looking for when he was being one type of person, now you're seeing a different side of him, where he's actually, even with these police officers that have complete control of the situation at the moment, he's taken control from them. He's interrupting them. Yeah. That's not what I don't need to know about all that. Just tell me this.
So what was the reason they got pulled over?
Well, someone apparently at Moonflower Natural Foods.
Okay.
Apparently they had a fight outside of that business. Right. And someone witnessed it and called police. And I find it kind of weird that they were able to find him.
Yeah. Because
apparently he was obviously had left at that point. But that's why they didn't just accidentally pull him over for speed and then realize, oh, this is the guy. Like, they were looking for him. And for something like a domestic dispute like that it wasn't extremely violent. I guess they had really nothing else to do that day. I don't know. To me, it's a little weird that they went after him and were able to find him. But the best I can understand the situation is that's what they did. They tracked him down and pulled him over. And they were trying to get him to pull over for some distance, the officer was, and he was kind of ignoring them. And I just kind of wonder if he was thinking about not pulling over.
I don't know, because again, the one thing I keep questioning in my head is that in that video, and a lot of people were saying that they got pulled over because he hit the curb after supposedly she grabbed the wheel. But when they were questioning them, he said, yes, she grabbed the wheel, and she said, no, she did not touch the wheel. So I think that's a very important try to figure out what really happened. Did she or didn't she? Because everybody's painting him as the bad guy, like even in this conversation. And I'm not saying you're right or wrong. I'm
Mhm.
just saying that nobody is really saying anything about her. Like, I think she's got like psychotic issues as well. And I'm not trying to paint her in a bad way at all, but I'm just saying that how do we know she's as innocent as we think she is? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's interesting you bring that up because I had come to that conclusion myself after looking at the Instagram, both his and hers. And then
Right.
really what it was, not I didn't see signs of that really on hers, although someone else pointed out something that until I can verify it, I don't really want to say it,
Right.
on that they noticed on hers. But on his, what I did notice is that she seemed to be very supportive of his behavior that to me would seem off. Like, let me just say, I can't say that his Instagram proves that he's a psychopath or anything, or he's even a sociopath. I'm not in that position to diagnose that anyway. But I could say this, that if I were a female and I say I met this guy on a dating site and he said, well, here's my Instagram. And I started looking through that, no way in hell I'd date that guy, right? I'd be like, I need to block this guy right away. Hopefully I haven't given him too much personal information. That's the way I would feel. So I'm thinking, but she's not like that. She sees all the stuff that would concern me, but she's supportive of it. She's giving it hearts and whatever it is on Instagram that says, you know, hey, I like this. And so I feel the same way you do, that she's not completely innocent. And also, yeah, and she even says herself, and when she's pulled over, that I told him I'm sorry, I'm so mean, and these kind of things. But she also said that she didn't want to drive the van because she doesn't usually drive the van, and she hopes she doesn't have to drive it too far. She's not really able to survive in the world on her own.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, again, we saw the scratches on him, nothing on her. And I'm not trying to say that she's a bad person or something, but we got to keep our eyes and ears open until we really know the full story. We're only hearing what they're telling us for now.
Yeah, for sure. Um, I dated someone in my past that, and I'm just kind of I think if you love someone, you just accept them the way they are. Like at one point, she told me that she was on medication. I said, "Well, we've been living together probably a good 6 months at this point." And I
Yeah.
said, "Well," she said, "I went to the doctor today, and I got back on my medication." And I said, "Well, what medication are you on?" And she goes, "I don't want you to know." Well, even though I saw medicine in the cabinet, I saw medicine in her purse when it would be open or whatever, I never looked at it. It's just not, that's not my personality. I just kind of think, if I can't trust, if she doesn't want me to know, then I don't need to know. And if I
Right.
can't trust her, or if I'm not okay with that, then I don't need to be in the relationship.
Then why
So
are
that,
you there? Exactly.
yeah, so that was kind of my feeling on it. But at the same time, I did have to put up with some weird stuff. Like one time
Hmm.
she had cuts all over her arm. And I was like, what is that? And I didn't know about self-harm or cutting at that point. And then, so I started putting things together over the relationship. I didn't see all this at once. It was just, it would unveil itself a little at a time. But she attacked me a couple of times. Like one time I kind of caught her cheating, and I wasn't really even freaking out on her. I just said, hey, by the way, you know, I saw this and it kind of looks like you're cheating on me. And when I did that, she just immediately started wailing on me with her fist in my face. She probably hit me a good 10 times before I even was able to stop it. And I just wrapped my arms around her. And I just like I said, calm down. I just like trying to hold her so that she wouldn't hit me. And she says, let me go or I'm calling the police. I thought, wait a second. All I'm doing is trying to keep you from beating me up. And so I can kind of relate to what you're saying, that you just don't know the situation. Some women, they're just unstable, and there's no telling. But the thing is, and I thought that too when I watched the video. That's why I kind of thought the same way you did. So I went and looked at his Instagram, and I thought, okay, wait a second, this guy's pretty dark, because you only see that smiling, nice side and trying to cooperate. And I just think that there's a more definitely a darker side to him.
Darker side, yeah, yeah.
And
So,
so
according to you, though, do you think there's any chance that she's still alive?
wow.
At all? Like, okay, I mean, besides, okay, it's a hoax. Is there any other way she could be alive?
I've run through a few scenarios in my mind. I don't think any of them really hold much water.
Right.
And one scenario being that, so if you talked about, and I know there's a lot of people in your chat. I've been reading some of the chat as we've been talking, and I don't want to ignore them. If you want to touch upon anything in the chat, maybe we could.
I was going to, but the problem is, my battery's getting like really, really low.
Okay.
I was only going to go on for about 10 minutes, and I'm pushing it to 20 minutes.
I got you. Are we still here?
Sorry, are you there?
Oh yeah, I am.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so I was going to say that if you want to give me a call tomorrow, I think I'm going to come back on and do another live stream tomorrow night at the same time, 11 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
You're more than welcome to call back in because, yeah, like I said, my phone is just about dead. I had to quickly put in the charger, but I can't do it this way. So if you want to call back in tomorrow night at 11 p.m., you're more than welcome.
Okay, sure. I can do that.
If you have a channel you want to give a shout out, you're more than welcome to do that as well. Since, again, I appreciate you calling in. So if you want to give a shout out for your channel, feel free.
Oh, I don't really have one. I don't do any of my own content, but
okay,
I appreciate that.
All right, no problem. And yeah, I hope you subscribe to the channel, and definitely do call in again tomorrow night, because I'm sure you still have a lot you want to talk about, and I do want to hear it.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Rabbit.
All right.
All right, see you later.
All right, have a good night.
Bye.
Okay, bye. All right, guys and gals, I'm going to cut the stream here because, as I said, the phone's almost dead. But I will definitely do another live stream tomorrow night at 11 p.m. Eastern. I do hope that each and everybody can come back on, and hopefully I can entice you guys to call in, because I do want to speak to you guys. Don't be shy. I promise you, rabbits don't bite. They nibble. Okay? So, hopefully we'll see you guys tomorrow night. If you are new here, subscribe to the channel. It's nothing but peace and love here, hopefully, except for the black sheep, which don't get along with rabbits. But that's a story for another day. And if you can leave a thumbs up for this video, I would appreciate that. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me and putting up with some of the goofballs around here, black sheep, but no names will be mentioned. I think I just did. And we'll see you guys tomorrow night, okay? Peace and love. Stay safe. Stay strong. Again, you guys rule. We'll see you tomorrow. All right? Later, guys. And gals.